How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Chargepoint and as well as for SOFI. Both of these plays did have strong green days. Like I've been telling you, if we see momentum inside of the market, these stocks should be picking up, and that's exactly what they are doing. So I hope you guys are making money off of these plays. But with that said, if you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know that we have timestamps down below inside the description. So what are we going to do? We're going to be taking a look at the charts. We're going to take a look at the short interest, and then at the end I'll be giving you guys some more details and make sure that you are prepared going into Wednesday. So let's get into those videos right now. So we're going to take a look at the chart for SOFI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $5.40, being up 5.26%. On the low it tested $5.25, and then on the high testing $5.46. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 37.434 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 40.784 million shares. So we had below average volume on the day, and we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, one of the first things I want to show you guys, and what is really good to see, that we use the 9 EMA as support. It is around 526, and we had a low of the day at 525. So we did form another higher low and as well as a higher high. But I also want to let you guys know we did have a gap up. So SOFI does have a gap that needs to be filled right here in the low 520 area. So that's something you're going to want to watch very closely. Aside from that, we ended up seeing a high at $5.46. You guys know we want to see SOFI in that $5.50 range. We know there will be some resistance when we get to 550, but if we're able to gain some momentum, then the next level we want to watch is right here around $5.76. So even if we go into tomorrow, what I want to see is another higher low. I want to see a continuation. So if we end up having support anywhere above 525, that's a good sign. But if we decide to pull back and fill in the gap, I'd be very curious to see if bulls would want to step in and push this price up further. If not, that's where we could see SOFI going back to $5, and then we'd want to see what it would do from there. But long story short, at least you guys know what it looks like to the upside and as well as the downside. Let's see what it does going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for October the 4th, we don't have any, but we have some changes here from AdvisorNet Financial Inc. that has 1,450 shares, and it looks like they have a value change of their position of negative 46.15%. Now, when we take a look at our short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 35.54%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 5.79 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 3 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 0.81%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 30th, it is at 38.69, and then for the close of the 3rd, it is at 35.54. So it has gone down a bit, and then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 12.60%, SOFI does continue to have short squeeze potential. So we're going to take a look at the chart for Chargepoint. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $16.31, being up 8.37%. On the low, it tested $15.63, and then on the high, testing $16.60. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 9.322 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 8.368 million shares. So you can see that we did have above average volume on the day, and we saw some strength in the stock. When we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, I must say that Chargepoint had quite the move, but we should not be surprised whatsoever. Remember when I was talking about that level at $16.51? Well, guess what? We saw a high at $16.60. Of course, we were unable to close above $16.51, but it it still looks bullish regardless. And the main reason behind it, we are above the 9 EMA, the 50 EMA, and as well as the 21 EMA. And what makes it even better, we found support right at the 50 EMA, which is around $15.65, and of course we saw a low at $15.63. But do know, since Chargepoint did have a gap up, we have a gap to the downside that needs to be filled right here around $15.30. So please add that to your homework. But if we continue to see some strength out of Chargepoint, what do I want to see going into tomorrow? Yes, I want to see a test going to at least $17. We know there's a lot of sellers here, but if we're able to break above this level, then the next area where we can start seeing some resistance will be around $17.70. If we decide to have a pullback now, will we fill in that gap? Hey, I think that would be really healthy for the play overall in general. But if we don't decide to fill in that gap, then I could see us trying to find some support right here around $15.50. We could see it also was resistance in the past back here on September the 30th, so I'd want to see if there'd be some strength here. But overall in general, Chargepoint is looking good. Let's see what it does going into Wednesday. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Chargepoint. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we see the recent filings for October the 4th, we don't see any new or closed positions, but we do have changes here. So we have Advisor Net Financial that has 653 shares, and it looks like they increased their position by 11.11%. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 43.90%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 1.49 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 1 million, updated just now, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 1.90%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 30th, it is at 40.37, and then for the close of the 3rd, it is at 43.90. So we see it went up a bit, and then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 17.10%, Chargepoint does continue to have short squeeze potential. So for my final thoughts for Chargepoint and as well as for SOFI, let's start off with Chargepoint. If you guys remember what I said in my previous videos, look out for that key level at $16.51. Where did we see our high today? At $16.60. No surprises, we had resistance there, but the fact that Chargepoint was able to make that move to get to that level is very bullish. So going into tomorrow or Wednesday, if you're catching this video the day of, if we continue to see strength in the market, I want to see Chargepoint making that move to $17. That is not too much to ask whatsoever. Remember what I said when it was showing strong support at the area of the $14.38 level. I said, hey, we could see it move up further if the market continues to show some strength, and that's exactly what is happening. So this is why I always emphasize having a game plan will put you ahead of the pack. You can have a good idea, especially when you're analyzing what the charts are telling you. I went through all of this with you guys, and this momentum should not be surprising whatsoever. Now, as far as for SOFI is concerned, it was great to see that it had a lot of strength, but just like Chargepoint and many other plays, it does have a gap that needs to be filled to the downside since we had a strong gap up. But if you guys want to know what that is, you better take a look at the chart. But aside from that, the next move we want to see from SOFI, we want to see it making that move to get to the $5.50 range, most preferably $5.56. If it's able to close around this level, that is definitely a great look, and then we can look for that move for SOFI to get to around $5.76. So if you haven't added that to your homework, make sure you do that. As far as for the short interest information, both of these plays do continue to have short squeeze potential, but again, pay attention to the overall market conditions. We can clearly see ever since the 10-year yield has taken a significant drop, we're seeing a lot of buying coming back into tech. And of course, SOFI, Chargepoint, the Lucid, and the stocks that we talk about are going to benefit from this. And the main reason behind it is that the market is going in a direction of risk off. But in my personal opinion, there is a chance this could be short-lived. But you guys already know the levels that you need to look out for if we decide to have a pullback. This is for all of my traders out there. And for my investors, I'm going to keep saying it over and over again.
just load up on the dips and dollar cost average in when it comes to these particular plays. There's no reason why you should be buying at the tops or buying when there's so much euphoria and when there's excitement or while the market is trending up. You want to buy into the fear. I talk about this all the time. So if you were able to get into these plays when they were beaten down, again, SOFI was at $4.79, and I said that it's worth some consideration. Talked about Chargepoint when it came down to $14.38, and I was like, you know what? There's a lot of support here. Buyers can come in and it can move up, and look what's happening right here in front of you. Again, have a game plan. If you've been watching my videos for quite some time, I'm going to continue to say that to have it ingrained in your mind. So let's see how these stocks perform going into Wednesday, and I will continue to keep you guys inside of the loop. We'll talk soon.